Which is better, political party provincially or federally, or being a mayor?
Well, I'll distinguish between being the leader of a political party in government and being leader of the opposition. When I was seeking the leadership of the PC party, David Peterson, who was and is a friend, said to me, "This will be, if you win it, the worst job you've ever had." And he said it was the worst job that I would ever have because it's a job that is, first of all, basically negative in its approach because you're holding a government to account. And I can assure you, each day that I had that job, you are accused by some people of being too soft because you're not hard enough on the government, and that was more often the case with me because I often felt that I should compliment them on things they were doing right because I felt it would give me more credibility when I criticized them, and there were things they did right. I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And so there's that part of the job that's unfortunate, and the other part of the job is you have absolutely no leverage to do anything. I mean, you are just there to stand up and hold the government to account, and you aren't really involved in the process of governing at all, as much as I think that's a huge failing of today's parliamentary system, where, you know, the members of the government caucus are just expected to be there and put their hands up and vote the way the government tells them to vote, and there is basically no role for opposition MPPs, I am afraid to tell you. I mean, it's a very perfunctory role at best, and so that job is that way, whereas when you're the mayor, you are in the government, and every member of council is in the government by definition, because there is no executive per se, there's an executive committee, but the decision-making body is the city council. So every one of the 45 people have a role in decision-making and executive decision-making, as it were. And so I think that's one difference. And the second difference I've noticed, and I say this not to denigrate the role played by MPs or MPPs, people turn first, whether they should or they shouldn't. In some cases they shouldn't, as a matter of understanding the constitutional division of responsibilities to their local representative. They see you on the streets, they see you in the neighborhoods, your job is here in Toronto. And so, you know, I think that you are the most recognizable level of government by people, and as a result, it is a difference. You know, I think federal MPs, while people know who they are seen as somewhat removed. They're dealing with big issues, interest rates, foreign policy, and all that. But, you know, if water doesn't work, or the police don't come, or even sometimes when it comes to an immigration matter, which is federal, they phone their councillor or their mayor first because they know who you are. One of the great surprises of this job to me is that everybody knows who the mayor is, and that can be there's a downside to that. I mean, everybody does, but if you said, well, could they name all the provincial or federal cabinet ministers who live in Toronto? They probably couldn't. But everybody can name the mayor, and that's just because you're here and you're very present locally, and the stuff you're dealing with is the stuff that is most essential to people living their lives. They need the water to turn on. They need, respectfully, the wastewater to be taken away. They need the police to come. They need the fire department. They need their garbage to be picked up. They need parks. They need proper transportation around the city. And so these are the things that if you took them away, if you took away foreign policy, I mean, some people would care, but most people would say, well, we'll probably get along for a period of time anyway. So that's, I think, the big differences between the two, and I find this a very fulfilling but a very challenging job because you don't have party discipline and you don't have party, so you have to work at those same 23 votes that we talked about.